Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, Justin interrupted me. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
Starting the year off right.
Interrupts.
Starting the year off right, baby.
I am Justin the interrupter.
That's
Fear
right.
me,
Yeah,
lest you talk under me. Hey Doug, I got a question for you.
let's go.
Okay, so someone is got their shades wide open, right? Window dressings open, lights on. You know, they're not hiding anything in their house. How long is it acceptable to look in the window if you're on the sidewalk?
Day or night?
Does that change your answer?
I mean, it depends on what you can see. If it's daytime, you probably can't see too much. If it's nighttime, lights on.
Well, if it's daytime, lights on. Anytime the lights are on, you're gonna get a better view in.
Yeah, but if it's daytime, there's a glare on the window, so you're not gonna be able to see as much inside.
From the outside, but if the lights are on the inside, that's gonna help light the inside, and it's gonna reduce on that glare. Let's say it doesn't matter.
I'm saying you're on the outside looking into this window, right?
In this scenario, doesn't matter day or night, you can see clearly in.
Okay.
There's no glare. It's a diffused day. There's clouds.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is diffused, so there's not a bright sheen on it. You can see right through. Day or night, doesn't matter. You can just see through.
Okay.
How long is it acceptable to look through that window?
I feel like nighttime, it makes a difference, because if it's nighttime and you're just standing out there with a red balloon staring in the window, I mean, that leaves an impression.
Sure.
But if it's daytime, it looks less creepy if you're like, there's a coyote in your backyard, I was looking there's a skunk, you can just play it off.
I can see right through your house and into the backyard, and I'm telling you, there's a skunk back there.
There's a ghost on your roof. What? Yeah, it's running around with a bunch of nuts in its mouth. Oh.
Right, big fluffy tail like a ghost has.
Yeah, ghost. It just sits there. Oh. I would say, as far as how long is it acceptable, it depends on if there's anything weird going on. You know what I mean? If there's anything unusual. Because if it's just like, the window's open. Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like if there's someone doing an interpretive dance wearing a kimono or something.
If someone has their shirt lifted up and they're pressing their nerps against the glass because it makes them feel nice and calm, I mean, I'm going to sit there and be like, wait, what? That's weird.
Okay.
Huh. But for the most part, I don't want to make eye contact with people. I don't want to engage with people. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But if it's something weird, I might stop and be like, what's that?
But if so if you're just on because you can do a lot of walks. I asked this because when we were back in Chicago over between Christmas and New Year's, we were walking around somewhere, and one of the places that we passed was like one of those like row homes, and they had very close, like the front windows very close to the sidewalk. Lights were on, shades were open, everything, and they were just. And it was a very long or wide window, so I just looked over. I was just looking around. I looked over, and whatever they were doing caught my eye, and I lingered. And it was one of those things where I wasn't even cognizant of it. Like you ever catch yourself staring? You're on the bus or something. You just catch yourself staring at someone. You're like, oh shit, I've been staring at this person for like 30 seconds. And then I realized, and they looked over at me, and I immediately looked away. I'm like, that's probably super creepy. But I'm like, well, if you have your window open and your lights on and you're that close to the street, if you're not making any attempt to cover it up, is it wrong to look at? Like, I feel almost like you're putting yourself on display at that point.
No, there's nothing wrong with someone looking like in that direction. Again, if you stop and stare, different story.
Right, but like if you're not walking fast, if you're strolling and like you're looking for 30 seconds, let's say.
It's uncomfortable, but
is
again,
that
like I'm also like the kind of person, I'm like, cool, and I'm gonna get out of view. I'm gonna Homer Simpson into the floor.
Right into the other room. Yeah.
Right. I'm like not. What's weird now? Let me ask you this: is this weirder? Yeah. You're out in the yard doing yard work, and a person just looks at you the whole time you're out there.
Have they stopped? I think maybe that's the thing. If you've stopped, that changes the game. Like if someone's walking by, let's say I've got a long fence and they're kind of like watching what I'm doing. Like maybe I'm tinkering with the lawnmower or something and they're watching the whole time. I can understand being curious that there's movement, there's something going on. But if someone just stops and just kind of stares and watches, that's where I think it turns creepy.
Yeah, I'd say the stopping and staring is the worst.
Yes.
Locking eyes on something as you walk and like fixating your gaze almost to the point where, you may trip over yourself because you're
Right.
too busy focusing on something.
Where
Also
you
not
pass
cool.
them and your head's cranked. You're
Yeah,
just
also not cool, especially like, again, if you're outside doing like working on your lawnmower, you're like, what? What? What do you
Right.
want?
What do you want?
What are you waiting for the big boom for me to start this? You're worried that maybe I don't have all the grass cleaned out of the undercarriage? You coming to tell me to sell me on sharpening my blades? Like, what are we doing
Right.
here?
You want to talk to me about, you got an electric lawnmower there. What kind are you rocking?
Which you did while we were in Grand Rapids, by the way, which was hilarious. You saw a guy with a weed eater, and you're
I
like,
did.
"Hey, what do you got
you
there?"
like
I've been looking into this, and I was like, "This is an adult moment right here.
Yep.
This is an adult
You got that
moment."
Ryobi. It's the
Yeah.
brand I'm looking to. Yeah. How do you like it? He's
What do you
"Oh, it's
like?
been
What,
good." "Okay,
how's the
cool."
torque on that?
Yeah,
This guy's like, "I'm just trying to do an annoying chore right now." I'm like, I know. Tell me about it. How does
Right.
it make you feel?
do you have the manual? I'd like to see all the specs.
What's the grip like on it?
Can
What's-
I weed your yard?
What's the horsepower? Can I take this for a spin?
I just
want
wanna-
to try it
yeah.
real quick. And you
I
just
live
like
3
carve
blocks
your
this
initials
way.
into the siding. You're like, cool, I like this. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Just go real deep grooves in the lawn, right in
Yeah.
the front lawn.
You're like, I've never done this before. And you're like, I can
Yeah.
tell. You've ruined my lawn, sir.
You just
Thank
hand
you.
it back to him and go, not my speed.
Yeah, don't
and
think
then
I
walk
want
away.
something that's a little more intense, has more finesse to it. You're like, I think that's a you problem. That's a skill issue.
What's the rip'ems on this?
Yeah.
Do you mean the RPMs?
I mean, whatever, weirdo.
Do you? No, I mean rip'ems.
Yeah. It's my daddy used to always call them the Rip'ems,
My dad and his dad before him, all right, we call them rip'ems.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is. So yeah, I think the stopping, I do think in talking this through, the stopping is what makes it odd. But I don't know. I just felt really, I realized at how creepy I felt just losing myself in looking through this window. And I'm like, fuck. That's uncomfortable. And I'm like, Doug probably is practical. Doug probably has a time limit on how long it is.
Again, it depends on everything that's going on. Like if the person walking, like I said, is just staring.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like the whole time they're just like, oh. If the person on the inside is doing something unusual, like it's going to get people paying attention. They're going to be like, hey,
That's fair too.
What's going on in there? That's kind of weird. Like
Right.
It depends. But if it's just like, hey, I glanced, maybe I thought I saw something and I look back, I do a double take and I'm like, never mind, whatever. It's fine. We've all been there.
Yeah.
But that is something that humans, innately react to. If someone stares at them, it turns on the defense mechanism. People either get scared or they get aggressive because they're like, what the fuck? Because that's what, animals do. They lock eyes and they're like, it's an aggressive thing. So I used to watch, what was it? Brain Games or something like that. And they did an experiment where in a barbershop, they had a whole bunch of actors in there and they have a random person come in and they'd be getting their hair cut, and then on a cue, they would all stop and stare. There'd be people walking by outside, and they'd stop and just stare through the window.
That's so uncomfortable.
And they just observed how people reacted. Like some people just like froze and started like sweating, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is uncomfortable." Other people would be like, "The fuck are you looking at? What's going on?" They got aggressive. They're like, those are the responses,
The thing is, human beings are we are unique in that there is a potential for one more response too.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get real turned on by it.
Yeah, so like everybody's watching. Watch this flap.
I don't know many other animals that have the voyeur instinct, but
yeah,
but we humans that's an option. It's a
I
third
think
option
even a lot of animals also don't necessarily a lot of them don't have sex for fun. A lot of them have sex for procreation purposes.
Just simply for exactly.
There's a few of them that are like, this is fun. We should do
Dolphins
this.
like eye contact.
Yeah, they do. Dolphins like a lot of things. So, watch out for them.
If now you wouldn't be in the barbershop, but if you were, for whatever reason, let's take it back a few years. You have hair.
Let's take it back a lot of years.
Let's take it back a lot of years. You know what? Let's take it. You decide to treat yourself. You go in to get a shave. Okay. You're going to have this professionally trimmed up. Okay. You're sitting there and all of a sudden that happens. What's your reaction?
Not aggression.
No.
It's probably just absolute, petrification. I'm probably just like, I'd probably look down and be like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what am I doing? How have I offended people? On what day is it today? Am I at the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong day? What's the holiday that I didn't know about that I am interfering with?
Exactly. Did I fall asleep and make a weird noise or something?
Right. Yeah. Did I fart and people heard it? Like,
Right.
you know, what's going on? Yeah. Like there's just a whole bunch of stuff. Like I have a tendency to really, one of my biggest, I hate feeling stupid in front of people.
Sure.
So
who doesn't? Yeah.
Thanks, Mom, for giving me this thing that I still deal with to this very day, which makes me not want to ask questions because I'm afraid I'm going to feel stupid.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which is a real problem. Like, especially we're in a store. It's like, should we ask someone? I'm like, no, we're going to find it. We're on the hunt because I don't want to talk to people because I don't want to feel stupid, you know? So
Yeah.
if I don't understand something, I just nod. I'm like, okay. And then I go through, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing because I was too afraid to ask questions because I don't want to feel stupid. So to answer your question, I would not be aggressive. I'd be like, what the fuck? What did I do? You know?
Yeah. I like to think that I would, because you know me, I like to make things as awkward as possible often.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to think that I would just stare back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pick one person and I'd be like, you.
I'd love that.
And we're just doing this.
I don't believe that.
Until someone, I'd like to think that's what I would do.
You're like, I want that to be the outcome.
I would probably just get up and walk out with the thing still on, just the towel. I'm like, no, we're done here.
You're like, how sharp is this thing? You know, just
don't like it.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
That reminds me of one time you and I were at a Burger King in the city, and there was
I remember being at a Burger King with you.
It was a random moment.
Okay.
I forget where we were, why we were doing it, but we were there, and there was, I think, either he was homeless or just aggro or both. Okay. But like he was being real obnoxious, and I was like huffing and puffing, and I was like kind of like saying some stuff loud enough for him to hear. And I just remember you looked at me and I was like, can you believe this guy? You're like, you're the one that's going to fight him. Like, you're just like, you're the one you're instigating this. It's on you, man. Like, I was just like, it's a fair point. You're on your own, pal. You're the one you want to start shit. You're going to have to fucking deal with this. I was like, yeah, fair point.
Was this early in our friendship?
I don't know. I mean,
because I'd like to think now I'd be like, all right, like if Doug's going to start this, I guess I have to jump in.
You read the room and you're like, this is a terrible idea. Why would we do this? Like,
Doug, why are we?
Like, we're not gorillas. Just let him exist. He's not bothering us. Like, why
throw a straw and make a big like show of it?
Why are you throwing chum in the water, man? Like, what's going on? Like,
but was this downtown? I got to remember where was.
I can't remember what neighborhood. I want to say we were doing something improv related. But it wasn't like downtown. It was like definitely in a neighborhood. I can't remember exactly what we were. It may have been something. I feel like it was a Burger King. It maybe McDonald's. It was something of that nature. But it was not
I
like
wish I could remember this. That's so fantastic.
It was very funny. We were grabbing something just to like quick. And you just looked at me and you're like, you're the one that's going to fight him.
You're the one that's going to fight him.
It was so funny because I'm like, you're right. I should shut up. Like, this is... I'm just super annoyed at this guy because he's ruining everyone's experience right now. He's like, you're going to make it worse. So shut up.
Oh, wait. Were we at the McDonald's on oh fuck, is it Randolph and like right near the theater district?
It was not downtown.
Like at the corner? Okay. Oh,
so it was in a neighborhood.
It was definitely more neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, it was a neighborhood spot, so I don't know.
Because I know I've experienced that at that McDonald's too.
The McDonald's on Jackson is a real special place too, so you know.
Oh boy, yeah.
Jackson, most McDonald's in downtown areas.
Adams and Wabash, yeah.
I saw one at when I was in San Francisco. There was a McDonald's, and I was like, man, this got the Jackson vibe for sure. This is a place I'm like, no, I'm not going in there. You know, even if I love McDonald's, I'd be like, nope, not today.
When we were in college, there used to be, we lived down in the South Loop when we were all going to Columbia, and there used to be at Congress and Dearborn, there used to be a Taco Bell. I want to say it was a Taco Bell Subway combo thing. Like on one side was a Taco Bell.
That's a weird combo. I don't feel like that's
definitely weird.
Brand accurate.
We would go mostly for the Taco Bell, but
sure.
That location was wild. Like you want to talk about interactions like that. You walked in there and it was like, there's a 50-50 shot. We're walking out with food or with like a bruise. It's a wild place because you had everyone from homeless to people who just wanted to start shit to drunks to college kids. Like, because there were there was so much happening in that area because that's right by there's the Blue Line stop there, not too far from the bus depot on Harrison. Like it's a weird little like vagrant area. So that location is closed now. But I remember in college being like, we would go there and we'd be like, this is going to be an experience. We would always walk out with a story.
Yeah.
It was something.
It was similar. There was a KFC on Wabash that opened, was really, really nice. And then that whole area caught fire.
Oh, shit.
And burned down. And then they eventually reopened. And when they reopened, wasn't as nice. But Jill and I were like,
it was a KFC still?
It was a KFC.
Yeah.
And we went in there one time to get some chicken. And I remember we were staying behind this guy and his pants were a little too far down. There's like saggy pants. And there's like, hey, man, I can see all of your boxers. Like these things are around the back of your knees. And then like he just wheeled around and blood was just pouring out of his nose. He's like, hey, man, could you buy me some chicken? I was like, what the fuck? And he's just like blood dripping out of his nose onto the floor. And I was like, no, absolutely not.
We're going.
He's like, bah, and he like went over and then sat down in the booth. And I was like looking at the workers, looking at like the drops of blood on the floor,
right?
Looking at this guy sitting in a booth. I'm like, no one's going to do anything? Like, dude.
Tell me you still ordered food from there.
We did. We were in line, you know. But I'll tell you what, we never went back. I'll tell you that much. That was the last.
I can't believe you just didn't walk. Why would you not walk out?
We wanted KFC, man. What do you want from me?
There's so many other chicken places around.
No, there isn't. And don't even tell me about the Harold's that's like half a block away. Don't even tell me about the Harold's that's half a block away.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh
Joel
my God.
serviced that memory a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. That was wild. Yeah, that was a great moment. Great shared moment between the two of us.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, fucking love it.
Fucking love it, bro.
Yeah. Well, happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a great holiday. Justin and I enjoyed our holiday. I enjoyed taking the time off. It was great. I had 2 whole weeks off with the family. We had a nice Christmas. Made some good food, made lots of treats. Dude, no shit. I put on 10 pounds.
Did you really?
Put on 10 pounds. I'm like, I know how to get this off. So it's fine. But I was like,
I've done it
let's
before.
have some fun. Pew, 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 pew. I had some fun. I was like, oh boy. We went back to old school Doug. And I was like, which is nice because I'm like, I can do this knowing that I'll be okay. You know?
I think that's the nice part is that when you've finally made that lifestyle change, then you have the ability to slip in and out and choose which lane you want to live in for a little bit. Like that, there's a lot of freedom in that. There's a ton of freedom in that where you're like, cool, I can take December and just be a horrible person, and then we're gonna jump right back on it.
Yeah, and I was still doing stuff. You know, I was still going on walks. Yeah. I was still going to the gym, but also like. Boy, my poops were, I was like, man, I ate like this all the time. Of course my shits were like this. Just
right, you're
awful.
like, what? This makes so much more sense now.
Yeah,
cause and effect.
Like, oh, man. And I just thought this was just like a normal thing for me, just to have this like horrible diarrhea all the time. Right. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Instead of a cookie, I ate all the cookie.
Yeah. Instead of like some mac and cheese, I ate all the mac and cheese. A 9x13 casserole dish of mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had fun, and then I was like, oh, and here come the consequences, and now we are motivated to get back to eating a little better so that we don't feel like awful dog shit. But it was good. It was delicious. I made like a rib roast.
Yeah, what is your favorite thing you made?
The rib roast. I love prime rib, and this is the one time a year that I get it. Nice. And I do the old like slowly cook it in the oven until it gets the temp, and then I let it rest, and then I like turn it on to like 500 degrees and like char the outside. Yeah, and it was just like, oh, it's the fucking best. I love that. And then I made a mud pie, which was an Oreo cookie. What's that?
Okay, I was gonna say, is that after you ate all the stuff, then you made a mud pie?
And then I made a mud pie, and then I had a mud pie. It was Oreo cookie crust with. Basically, then you fill that with brownie, like a brownie mixture, and you bake it.
You have my attention, sir.
And then you make chocolate pudding, and then you let that sit overnight, and then you make homemade whipped cream, put that on top, top it with either some shaved chocolate or some crunched up Oreos. Fucking delicious. It was so goddamn good. So
Yes, sir.
goddamn good. Oh,
That sounds.
and then
amazing.
someone from work mentioned this. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like an apple cider called wassail. Wassail. It's
Wassail.
yes. You can. It's typically done with alcohol, but it's mostly like a super cider.
Oh, is it what?
Wassail.
To wassail is to sing carefully. Here we go, a wassailing along.
Oh, is that what it is? Wassail.
Yeah.
It's a wassail. Wassail.
Wassail.
That would probably be it. That makes sense.
Is a beverage made from hot mulled cider, ale, or wine and spices, drunk to. Oh my god, this looks really good.
I made it without alcohol, and it was fucking delicious. So,
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So
Oh,
yeah, made lots of good food. Had lots of treats. Really enjoyed myself with that, which was wonderful. And got to spend some good family time. I took Nat to an indoor slide park, which was super fun.
Nice.
They had like a bunch of cool slides, and I went on them too.
Like that's their specialty is just slides.
They call themselves an indoor action park, but they have like a couple of really cool slides. They're more than just like you actually get like a mat, and so that you don't get floor burn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was one where you go down and it shoots you up into the air, and you land into like a pile of foam.
Oh yes.
And Nat was like, "I'm scared." I'm like, "Come on, pussy, you can do it." No, I lightly encouraged her. I'm like, "Come on, let's give it a try."
Yeah.
She did it once, and she's like, "Cool, I did it. I don't want to do it again." I'm like, "Hey, but you did it." And I did it, and I went zoom, and I landed, and I smashed my face into my glasses so hard
Oh no.
that the bridge of my nose hurt for like 3 days afterwards, because I was
Jesus.
like, "Ow!" Like there was a perfect like greasy imprint of my eye closed, my left eye closed on my glasses. I was like,
so
wow.
you really fucked your face up.
Like,
Yeah.
wow! And I was like, that was awesome. Like it was pretty cool.
Dude, the next time we come out that way, I would love to do that.
Yeah, Natalie
That'd
would
be
totally
awesome.
be down for that. And then there was like there was one where you could race each other. There was another one that was for kids, not for people that weigh 260 pounds. Where you go down, it's like you go up over a hump, and it's kind of like, you know, whee, and then you slow down. There's like a mat that slows you down almost instantly.
Yeah.
And for Natalie, it was like woohoo. For me, it was like when I landed, just like right on my xiphoid process, you know, right there. I'm like as I hit it, and I'm like, not doing that one again. She's like, let's do that one. I'm like, you're on your own, kid. I'm not doing that.
Cheer you on, girlfriend.
I was like, you do it as much as you want. I am out. I'm out on that one. And they had like a dodgeball area, which Natalie just like walked into with the bigger kids. I'm like, okay, have fun.
Fuck
you
yeah.
know, she was just
Did she
like,
play?
She was terrified, but she like
Oh,
played
yeah.
a little bit, and then she's like, it's getting too wild in there. I'm like, hey, good try.
Yeah.
And there was like a zip line, and then there was this swing.
It's incredible.
Right. And there was like a swing that's like 15 feet up in the air, and you get on it and you swing. And the whole point is that you're supposed to jump off of it onto this mat. And from the floor, you're like, that doesn't look like that big of a deal. I didn't do it because like I feel like I'm too big to do it. But Natalie, I'm like, you should do that. She goes, I'm not doing that. And then about an hour in, she's like, all right, I'm going to try. I have a video of her. She's doing it. You can tell the fear is just like gripped her as she's like, and then she finally jumps out and she lands and she pops up. She's like, I like it. I'm like, hey, you did it.
Dude, getting over that fear when you can finally do it. Oh my God. What an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
Like you're so terrified. You do the thing. You're like, oh, wait, that was fun.
Yeah. That's why I try to nudge her towards those things. I'm like, I know it's scary,
right,
but it's going to be fun if you can do it. And she did that like 3 or 4 more times, which was really, really cool.
Fucking awesome. That's so cool, man.
Yeah. It was a really cool place. It just opened up like, I think some point last year. And I was like, over Christmas break, when it's cold, we're going to do that.
That's the perfect indoor activity place. Yeah.
It was really, really cool. We had a good time. So,
That's
and
awesome.
you know what? Something I have to say, sometimes places like that, you run into real monster people, you know, people not following the rules, people just doing dumb shit. Everyone there was like happy, kind, considerate, and just having a good time. It was good vibes all around. I'm like, this is nice. This is nice. Because you never know with those places. You're like, there's going to be some shit people. It really wasn't. And it was pretty busy. And I'm like, I like all you people. Thanks for making this a good experience. Thanks for not making this worse, you know?
Yeah. I was like, the first thing my mind went to was that kid at that outdoor fair. That's the first, those people who have listened to this podcast for a while should get that reference.
I don't remember the specifics of it, but I remember that kid drove me nuts. The kid was really weird and I didn't like him. I'll have to find that
Yeah.
clip again and pull it out because that kid was awful. Now, what's the opposite of that is when it's close friends and family that you know that are the assholes at a place like that. That's what sucks.
When you're going there with someone that you know and they end up being the Karen of the group.
Yeah, or they just don't follow the rules and you watch them almost nuke a kid. We went
I was
tubing.
gonna say this sounds very specific.
We went snow tubing, with some family members, and it was very fun. But they basically had like 8 lanes, and the lanes had like little pyramids that kind of like kept the tubes in their lanes.
Sure, yeah. Its best to keep the tubes there.
Right. But once you get out of the lane at the end, they just sort of like it opens up and physics going to do what physics going to do,
it's
which
like
is
Plinko. It's going to go where you're going to go.
And you just go, and they have mats to kind of slow your speed and stuff like that. Well, some friends and family thought, hey, what if we got 4 people in 2 lanes each, and we held on to each other? So we went down as 8 people total.
No.
And then once the lane ends, we turn into a giant fucking tube armada, 8 tubes wide. And there's one child who gets up from their tube and looks up, and they are smack dab in the middle of 8 fucking tubes. And you watch as they get absolutely annihilated. And you're standing at the top of the hill just being like, and you look to the guy who runs the place, one of the workers there, who got mad at you for walking up the conveyor belt that takes you up after you've gone tubing. It was like, it says stand only. I'm like, well, that implies that you shouldn't sit, sir. It didn't say anything. It doesn't say don't walk. It just says stand only. I'm like, okay, I'm standing and I'm walking. He's like, don't do that. There's signs. I'm like, whatever, dude. And I looked at him. I'm like, those people are going to get kicked out, right? Like there's going to be some sort of admonishment. And he just goes, you got to move when you get done down there. You got to move.
So he blamed the kid.
You got to move. Got to get out of the way. And I looked at the guy. I'm like, really? You got to move, man. People just take their time and that's going to happen. I'm like, sir, there's nothing that kid could have done. Right. Unless this is some sort of fucking action flick with Jean-Claude Van Damme where he's going to jump up and do the splits over the tubes as they come through and then land and be like, ha!
Right.
No, that's just, it wasn't going to happen. And I was mortified and I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, man, you want to do that? I go, nah, I've already saw one kid die today. I don't want to have a hand in another. So I'm good.
I don't want blood on my hands are clean.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And I turned to Natalie. I go, if they ask you to join, don't do that.
Right.
That's a big no-no. And I was just like, man, that's tough to watch. It's tough to watch.
That's a bummer. Yeah. But you guys were fucking busy though, man. Like tubing.
It's funny you say that. I mentioned a couple of things. Most of it was just hanging out.
Really?
2 weeks,
okay.
Just hanging out. Yeah. So.
But you strategically picked the right things to do though.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Yeah.
I was concerned with 2 weeks off. I'm like, man, are we going to get bored? Sure as fuck didn't get bored.
I was
also played
no.
a lot of video games. Video games. I played Marvel Rivals, which came out, which I was reluctant to start because it's similar to Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like a 6v6 shooter game, 3rd-person shooter. But the cool thing about this is you get to play as like an assload of different Marvel characters, all that have like different roles. And they have a cool concept called a team up. So like if someone's Hulk and someone's Wolverine, their team up is Wolverine can hop in Hulk's hand and Hulk can chuck them at the other team.
Yes.
Which is amazing. I've seen some hilarious videos of, there was this great video. Someone's playing Iron Man who is a character who's just flying all the time and shooting people. And it's from Iron Man's perspective. He's just shooting at this Hulk. It's like, pew, pew, pew. And the Hulk's like, whatever. The Hulk goes around into a room, comes out with a Wolverine and chucks it at the Iron Man. He's, yeah. And it just goes, God! And they both die. But it was hilarious. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
It's fucking awesome.
But they have some, there's like Black Panther. There's Psylocke. There's Doctor Strange. There's Magneto. There's oh my God, Namor. Spider-Man, Venom, Penny Parker. There's Rocket. Like they have so many of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's awesome.
And like there's so cool. Like Groot, if he's playing in your Rocket, Rocket can hop on Groot's shoulder, and then he takes like less damage as he's sitting there and shooting people and stuff, which is really really cool. So. I dove deep into that game and had a lot of fun. I've been playing with some of the Mind Gap community, which has been really fun. So just
Very
gaming
cool.
it up a lot, which was really, really cool and very, very enjoyable. So, and I was like, it was one of those games where I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to try and learn. I'm not good at shooters anymore. I'm just, and also you got to learn the characters, and there's so many characters because
you got to specialize. Like you got to know all the little nuances of that.
It helps because you understand their ticks. So like when someone's doing something, I'm like, oh, I know how that character works. So this is how I try to negate that.
Right.
Like Moon Knight is super effective. He'll throw down an Ankh under the ground. And if you're in the radius, he throws these like little bladed boomerangs. If it hits the Ankh, it just ricochets off of everyone really fast. So he can absolutely just destroy a team if you're not paying attention. If you don't destroy that Ankh, he's just going, and you just watch people's health just melt away. So if you see those, you go like, shoot that Ankh, or you get fucked up.
Yeah.
And then there's like Spider-Man is insane. I'll never play him because you literally just fucking zoom around the map using webs. And I'm like, I'm never going to get the hang of that. But a really good Spider-Man is a fucking he'll ruin your day because he just swings to the back line where all the healers are. And he's like, pow, 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 and then swings away. And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
what happened? Yeah.
Like, son of a bitch. I've seen him do shit. You can literally climb on the walls and shit like that. Saw a video of a guy.
Sounds incredible.
He was Spider-Man and he was under a bridge. And he popped up, grabbed a Hawkeye, pulled him over the ledge into the pit, and then like
no Jesus, dude. That's
I was like,
crazy.
This is real life Spider-Man right here. This is crazy.
Dude, it's like Spider-Man if he actually killed people. That'd be amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
People are so creative. I saw a video of a guy who his sole purpose as Spider-Man was to basically focus fire Hawkeye. Yeah. So that's all he did. And so like he would spawn camp. He'd wait for him to come out and he'd be like, yeah, and like throw him over a ledge or kill him. It got to the point where Hawkeye would come out and just do this. He was just super paranoid. He's looking at all the corners. Paranoid. Like, oh my God, where is he? And then he finally switched. And then Spider-Man's like, I did it. I got him to change characters.
That's fucking fantastic. Spider-Man Hawkeye developed a complex. He got in his psyche. That's fantastic.
Yeah. As a player, I'm like, the same thing. Like if a sniper can do that to you or whatever, it's great. My least favorite character. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
When we were playing TF2, it was always the worst. It was if you had someone on the other team that was so good, you would walk out of it doesn't matter what door you would walk out of in your base. They always seem to have you just right in their crosshairs, and they would drop you, and you would have to wait 20 seconds, spawn again. Fucking worst.
Sniper and spies in that one. You're like, I feel good. A spy comes up and just pursues. You're like, fuck. God damn it. There's my least favorite move in the game is there's a character called Jeff the land shark. He's adorable. He's a shark that also has legs like a dog.
All right.
And he's a healer. But his ultimate move is you hear him go, nom, nom, nom. And then you hear a little bell ring. And then you see this giant circle. And he jumps up and he eats everybody in that circle. He swallows them all up.
No shit.
Both friends and foes.
Okay.
He can spit out his friends. But most of the time, what they'll do is they'll find a ledge and they'll either spit people out of it or they will just kamikaze into the pit and kill everybody.
That's how I used to play Kirby.
Exactly.
If I had a few extra lives and I was going head to head with someone, I'd be like, fuck it. Just go right off the edge.
Yeah. Yep. And it is infuriating because there's so little time to react to it. Also, you can be in the air and he'll still get you. And
so it's hard to dodge it.
Because imagine a game, Justin, King of the Hill, if you will, where you're supposed to be attacking a point and holding it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, there's a few seconds left and you're about to take it. And then you hear nom, nom, nom. And then whoop, you all get swallowed. And then you hear tick, 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 and this thing just jumps into a pit and all of you die. And you lose the match because this fucking little bastard swallowed you all and then killed you. And it's the most, there's a lot of ultimates where I'm like, hey, man. Good job. Yeah. I tried to dodge. I tried to do this. With that, you get swallowed. You're like, I'm fucked. I have no control over what happens next.
Right.
And it sucks.
I love the psychology behind that, where you hear that ding, 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 nom, 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 and you're like, fuck.
I immediately, when I see it, I go, there's a Jeff. Get ready.
Jeff.
There's a couple tricks you can do to avoid it. There's another healer that gets like a 2-second like sort of invisibility buff that they can put on everyone in the radius.
Okay.
And the last time I played against Jeff, he did that move 4 times. I negated it 3 times.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck you, buddy.
So
I've
by making everyone else invisible, he can't get them. Okay.
Exactly. Right as he does it, I'm like, and I put a cloak around all of us, and he just goes, nah, and doesn't get anybody. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I've also seen videos of a Jeff that swallows everyone, and an Iron Man does his ultimate ability, which is a massive missile.
Okay.
He's like, he just nukes the shark from orbit and kills him, and then everyone spills out. And he's just like, and he consistently does that throughout the entire match. As soon as he ults, he saves his ultimate just to go blah.
So if you know you're playing against a Jeff and you're an Iron Man, save that ultimate.
He's like, I'm gonna fucking nuke this thing.
So So if you jump off the cliff as a Jeff with everyone in you, they die. But if Iron Man nukes Jeff, everyone spills out of it. They don't. Yes. They all don't die. Got
exactly. See, because kind of the risk of if you spit them out, some people have abilities that let them fly or float. Like Spider-Man could just web himself out of there.
Sure, yeah.
If you shoot him up, like some guys like Doctor Strange can float down, or Magneto can float down.
Right.
And so there's some way. So there are a lot of people just like, I'm just gonna, I'll take myself and 5 others. That's a good switch.
Yeah,
it's a good swap.
I like the ratios on that.
Yeah. It's pretty good. So, and also this game is free to play. So
I bet it's not for Mac, is it?
I don't know. I would love to see you in that game. Nothing would make me happier than to see you in this game. Oh my God. Can you play Marvel Rivals on Mac? Okay. It just fills it out. Marvel Rivals is banning players on Mac OS.
No.
Players who use crossover preview to play the game are being affected with a 100-year ban.
What? Come on. Why can't we all just get 2025, man? Let's all just get along. Let's go cross platforms. Come on.
That is hilarious. Please. Players were banned because the game misinterpreted attempts to run the software on currently unsupported platforms like macOS, Steam Deck, and Linux using Windows emulation software as cheating.
So even if I do the legitimate workaround, I get fucking banned.
Yeah. I was like, I would be shocked if this game
shit is what that
because it's also cross-platform, so it works on Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that. So I'm like, I would be shocked if Mac gets looped in with that as well, because I don't think that's possible. Or Justin, just get a fucking PC. You ever thought about that? A gaming PC? I thought about it. It's crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It's crossed my mind. That would open up a lot of doors, man, to a lot of fun times.
It would open up a lot of doors, a lot of fun times. I also worry that it would be my undoing.
I don't, because when you were able to play these games with me, you kept it pretty simple. You're like, we're going to play TF2 for 30 minutes. And I dropped everything. I was like, everyone shut up. Justin just messaged me. He said he could play TF2. I'm like, I'll be back. And I just stopped whatever I'm doing.
I can go play games with my friend.
I don't care what it is. I'm like, Justin never said never plays. We have to play now. I just hop in. I'm like, got to find a fucking server, because that's how that game worked. You're like, what's the server that's good and is full of people that isn't shit, and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I mean,
one of these days, Doug. One of these days.
I know. One of these days. It'd be great. It'd be great to have you in on some. I mean, I would love to play like fucking Baldur's Gate 3 with you. Oh my God.
There's so many games that you guys have been playing in the last year that I like. Well, how many times we've had this conversation? Countless times. Where I'm like, look it up. Can I play on a Mac? And we're like, we both know the answer, but look it up anyways.
We'll try. You never know. There's a chance,
Yeah.
I mean, the scary games. Oh my God. Because Seth won't play those. He refuses to play those. He doesn't like scary games. So, but I would, dude. We would.
I would play those though. For
Doug
sure.
and Justin scary streams.
Oh.
Doug and Justin scary streams. Like, oh my God, would that be great or what? Like,
man,
you and I trying to figure out puzzle games that are also scary. Oh my God. That'd be hilarious.
Okay, I'm putting this out there to everyone. I need everyone to help me build the cheapest version that is still good enough to play games on. I need to find that balance. I'm putting it on the general community. Just send stuff into MindGap. Social medias, mindgappodcast@gmail.com. Whatever you need to do, get on the Discord, jump on there, do the build out, send it to me, and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, New Year's 2025 resolution, Justin gets a gaming PC, so he can play games with us. Holy shit.
That'd be amazing. That'd be
because
sick.
What I like about you and the little that I play games with you is you're there for fun.
Mm-hmm.
You're there for fun.
Oh, yeah, I don't care if I lose.
And listen, a lot of people are there for fun, but not like you. You and Colby, my buddy Colby, are very much the same in that you're like, I don't give a fuck what happens. Like, I'm here to have fun. And holy shit, I haven't had nearly as much fun. Like, I remember you're like, hey man, come over to my apartment. Let's play some N64. We'll play some Smash Brothers. I'm like, ooh, a fighting game, a one-on-one fighting game. I don't know, man. Because my experiences in that involved that with my brother, which never ended well.
Which is not a good experience.
Where I'm like, I'll let you win, because then I will feel safer emotionally and physically, if I just let you win. You know, we had like the whole Talladega Nights Ricky Bobby situation in Mario Kart, where he's like, I get first, you get second. I'm like, okay. He's like, you help me get first. You just make sure that I always get first and you always get second. I'm like, okay. I settled for that. I'm like, we won when we both got, you know, first and second. If I accidentally got first, I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You know, it's just, you know, that sort of stuff. But like you and my buddy Colby, I remember going to his house and playing Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't have to end in violence. Oh, we can actually just like laugh as we fight each other, and we get good moves off on each other. Like, and playing, you know, Smash Bros. I'm like, I've never fucking played this game. I'm not good at it at all. And we had a blast. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It was silly. I'm like, oh, that's great.
That's what games are all about, man. That's what we used to play Halo together when we were in college. Me and Milos and Bob. The best one was I think it was Halo 2 or 3. You could make your own, like you could set up your own games where like you could do like Capture the Flag or whatever, King of the Hill, but then you could change parameters, so you could make gravity like negative 300, and then you could, it's like, so yeah, man, it was most of the time was spent not playing the actual game. It was spent creating our own games within the game, and that's my favorite way of playing a game, is how can we either break this or do something we're not supposed to in this game.
Yeah, I immediately just thought of 2 games or 3 games off the top of my head. There's Spider Hack, which would be so much fun. That's what
you and Nat play, right?
Oh yeah. We just played it the other day. Like, so much fun. Just pure chaos. You're a spider who gets lightsabers and rocket launchers and grenade launchers and shotguns and just have a blast. Like, so much fun. There's Stick Fight. You are literally a stick person, and you punch each other, and sometimes weapons will come down, like, you know, shotguns, spears, ice guns, bazookas that shoot snakes, you know, miniguns that shoot snakes, shotguns that shoot snakes, bazookas that shoot flying snakes. You know, there's all sorts of stuff. Super fun. Pummel Party. It's the violent version of Mario Party, and with lots of fun mini games and things like that. I'm like, those 3 things right there. I'm like, bam, bam, bam. Like, so much fun. And then we could find the scary shit, the 2-player scary shit.
That I'm into.
We could play Phasmophobia. You know, I try to figure out what ghost is in the house. You know what I mean? While it tries to kill us. So super fun. You know, all that good stuff.
We have good times.
All that good stuff.
Just saying.
So let's get Justin a fucking gaming PC, y'all, so he can play with us. You know, I would love to see you in Marvel Rivals, just to see how you handle that.
I would love to see how I play it too.
Yeah, it'd be great.
You know,
be so much fun.
Be so much fun.
Justin,
time to play a game.
You ready to move on to the game?
Let's play a game. Yeah,
let's play a fucking game, y'all. It's that first game of the new year. Of Justin, can you guess that movie from the audio clip? Guess who's back? That's right. You know it, you love it. I'm going to play either a sound effect or an audio clip from a film, and Justin is going to have to take that and guess what it is. Hopefully, he's seen the film, or like last time, he can put context clues together and be like, that's Death to Smoochie, you know, and figure it out what it is. So, Justin, are you ready?
Doug, I was born ready. I've been waiting. Okay. I've been waiting all year so far for this.
All right. Which ones to pick? Because I've got a lot this week. I think I know. Okay. All right. I know what I'm going to do. Okay. One of these is going to be a sound effect. The other 2 are going to be lines from the film. Okay. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. Here's your first one.
Where'd you get the beauty scar, tough guy? Eating pussy?
How am I going to get a scar like that eating pussy?
First off, the writing is impeccable. Writing's impeccable.
Right?
That's
because the follow-up question to that is exactly right. Like, how would I get a scar like that eating pussy? Right. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
So initially, I was like, I love this dialogue. I have no idea. And then as soon as you hear that shitty accent, there's no mistaking that is Scarface.
Yeah, I almost left that part out.
Yeah, you'd have got me on that one.
But it's such a good follow-up question.
It is.
It's like a perfect exchange. I love that. And that's like that's like the very beginning of that movie where he's getting
Yeah.
interrogated by the police or whatever as he's coming in as a refugee. And he's just like, where'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating pussy? He's like, I had to cut out the pause because there's such a long pause where he was like, what? What?
How do you-
What?
I think you're doing it wrong, sir. You shouldn't be. Is it vagina dentata?
Are you literally eating the vagina of a tiger? Like, what are you doing here? Like, I don't understand. That's crazy.
Are we in the movie Teeth?
What's
going on?
happening?
Yeah.
What's happening here? This is crazy. All right, excellent job. Well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. As I've been rewatching older movies and things like that, I'm just open to different lines. And I was rewatching Scarface, and I was like, well, I gotta add that one to the list.
Well, that's going in.
Gonna put that one in the list because the one obvious from that is like, say hello to my little friend, but everyone
Well,
knows
I
that
mean,
one. You know,
yeah.
can't do that one. All right, you ready for the next one?
I am ready.
I don't know if you've seen this one, but we'll see
Okay.
if you can figure it out.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Who's Kevin gonna take? Yeah, that's dude. Have I seen this one? Fuck yeah, I've seen this one. That's
All
the
right.
town, baby.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines
so
from that.
good. Yeah,
It's like
that's the line that you as I don't know if as a guy I'm like that's the line that gives me because I'm like that's the friend you want. That's the
It's a
friend
great
you
friend.
want where you're just like, yeah, no, let's fuck someone up. I don't give a shit. Whose car are we gonna take?
I like that. It also is terrifying to me because a lot of bad things can happen from people just being blindly loyal.
Well, that's true too.
On one side, very romantic, very awesome. Like, hey man, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
I don't need any details. You tell me where we're going, and I'll do whatever you need me to do because I'm your best friend. You know.
Right.
The other side of that, he just said we're gonna hurt people, and you can never ask me about it. And he's like, all right, whose car are we taking? It's like that's kind of fucked up that someone's like that dumb to do that.
You can never ask me.
Yeah. He's
It's
like,
people and you can never ask me. We do it again. I can never remember the actual quote. Do it
I
one more
need your
time.
help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Because he's
for
watching
context,
TV.
if you haven't seen this movie, this scene opens with Ben Affleck walking into Jeremy Renner's room. Like there was no lead up to this. He just came to his
Nope.
house and he's like,
Jeremy
I
Renner's
have,
watching TV in a dark
Yeah.
living room. There's no,
Yeah.
he's just walks right in the door, walks right up to him and says this.
yeah. And then without anything, he's just still watching TV. He kind of looks over. He's like, whose car are we going to take? You know,
Which car are we going to take? Like, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shit goes sideways.
not too sideways, but you know, basically, you know, they go and fuck some people up.
What's what I'm saying? Like for those
Yeah.
people, it's
Yeah.
it was not good. Yeah.
It was not good. Excellent. All right. Last one is a sound effect.
Okay.
We'll see if Justin can figure it out.
Is it Ghostbusters?
It is Ghostbusters.
I mean, come on.
What from Ghostbusters though?
Is it Ecto 1? Is
It's
it the
Ecto
car?
1!
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Woo!
Let's
Look out
go.
now. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I listened to that isolated.
It's so iconic, though.
It's iconic, but you also hear it with so much more ambient noise.
Sure,
And also,
sure,
it's
yeah.
faster and a little higher pitched in the film than this is.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, I don't know, all these things could throw him off. It's also, you know, you usually hear it with,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That's
So,
such a no. I don't know. I feel like that's just so iconic.
it's pretty iconic, but
Like,
out
I
of
don't know what
context
they
tue, you
used.
could be like, I don't know, it's some sort of alarm at like a
And,
nuclear
is it
facility.
Alien again? I don't know.
Is it like
Yeah.
war games or something? Like, I don't know. Like, what is this? You know? Well done, Justin. You smoked those.
I love this game. So good.
Yeah, so fun. I got you. Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well done. Let us know. Did you get those? You fucking idiots. Let
You
us
better
know.
have. If I got him that easy, you better goddamn have.
You better goddamn get him because he's dumb as shit. You know what I mean?
I am. Box of fucking rocks.
I
over here.
am.
I am.
So proudly. I'm dumb.
I got nails in my brain.
I'm dumb as fuck.
I'm dumb as hell. Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Oh
Justin.
boy.
By the way, the other day I was doing something. Like I was getting something out of the basement. I'm like, something that said like half the year bigger. I'm like, oh, Mr. Big Man. I just said that out loud and I was like to nobody. And I was like, Justin and Drew used to say this all the time.
So their ears are burning somewhere.
They're like, oh yeah, is that right, Mr. Big Man? And I was like, oh, that's funny. Anyway, inside joke for nobody. Justin, what do you got
Yes,
to
sir.
recommend this week?
I am going to recommend, this has been on my list for a little while, and I was bored over break, and I'm like, not bored, but I was like, well, what am I going to jump into? And so I finally put this one on, and I enjoyed it. It's called Good Time. It's with Robert Pattinson, Benny Safdie. Safdie brothers co-directed it. Little indie flick, A24 film. It's weird, but it's good. I really enjoyed it. And as I was watching it, I'm like, am I wrong for like, this is a bizarre movie, but I'm like, I am enjoying this. Got a 91% in Rotten Tomatoes, 7.5 stars out of 10 on IMDb. So the people have spoken. I'm not crazy. I got rocks in my brain, but I'm not crazy. Well liked film. So yeah, if you're on your A24 kick, still, I would recommend popping this on. Basically, it's Benny Safdie plays a mentally handicapped brother to Robert Pattinson. They rob a bank. Things go tits up, and Robert Pattinson gets away. Benny Safdie gets pinched, and so Pattinson spends the night trying to figure out how to get bail money to try to get him out of prison in the seedy underbelly of New York. And things don't go as planned.
I remember seeing that on the list of all the A24 films. I read it, and just like the synopsis didn't appeal to me, so I skipped over it. But I take your recommendations very seriously. So
yeah, I enjoyed it. Look, may not be for everyone, but it's one of those movies where you ever watch those where during the movie you're like, I like this, but is it good? I can't tell. And then it gets done, and like the next day you wake up, you're still thinking about it. You're like, that must have been a good movie. I'm still thinking.
A lot of those A24 films will do that to you, where you're like,
they're thinkers, yeah.
That leaves you with an impression, to say the least.
Yes,
so
absolutely,
they have a knack for finding those stories. I tell you what,
they very much do. So
yeah.
So what do you got, Dougie?
Marvel Rivals. Check it out.
Love it.
Free to play.
Yep.
It's fun. Something else I forgot to note: they have a destructible environment. So there's parts of the environment that you're playing in on the maps that you can destroy, which are strategic.
Okay.
So say, for example, someone's on top of a platform shooting at you. You can sometimes look up and destroy that platform so that no longer exists for them.
Love it.
You can find little shortcuts through the level to backdoor people and annihilate them and things like that. So
cool. That's fun.
It's cool. Super fun. You can play it on PlayStation. You can play it on PC. You can play it on Xbox. Not on Mac, though. So there you go.
Whatever.
They're also going to be releasing the Fantastic Four later this week as playable characters. So
that's fun. Right ahead of the well, not ahead of. When's it coming out?
Nobody cares.
I do.
Cares. No, nobody cares.
I think that's going to be a good. We'll talk about that later. But I
hope it is, but I don't have high hopes. So I
got
got
July
hopes
25th. Oh my God! Last year I got fucking Deadpool and Wolverine, and this year I get Fantastic Four. I feel like last year was the winner.
Well, with Pedro Pascal in it, I mean, you got my eyeballs.
I'm interested.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because I also read some of the notes on this with Johnny Storm and Storm. Storm's in this. Storm's ultimate ability, she creates a tornado, and which is pretty devastating. Johnny Storm can use his ult at the same time and infuse that tornado with fire. So it turns into a fire tornado.
Nice.
Which is super cool. I'm like, wow, that's going to be pretty fucking cool.
It's like the movie Twisters.
Exactly. Which Natalie always goes, see, fire tornadoes, Dad, as she sees the trailer. See, Dad, they're real. I'm like, it went over a refinery. All right. Stop it. They don't exist in the wild.
It's not a thing that just
They're like, oh, here comes the fire tornado that just happened.
It just the atmosphere ignited.
Yeah, there we go. We must have angered God. Awesome. Well, gang, thank you so much for listening to us. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you have, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check the link in the description at youtube.com/mindgappodcast for links to our Patreon, links to our merch at Redbubble, and links to our Discord, where you can hop in there, join us in some lovely conversation, and possibly join us for some games. If you're playing Marvel Rivals and you're looking for a team, come hang out. We'll play with you. And also be sure to check us out on all our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast, and be sure to check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, anywhere where you can consume audio versions of podcasts, look us up there. We're there. Spotify, Good Podbean, Apple Podcast, whatever you like, you'll find us. And then go ahead and subscribe, rate, review, share, do all the things, download, whatever you can do. Just do those things. And then, like we said, the big one is sharing. Let people know we exist, because in 2025, we ask one thing of you. Let someone know that we're here. Just tell someone, I got this podcast I listen to. These guys are they're goofy, but I think they're lovable. And that goes a long way. So thank you ahead of time. Then twoeast8th.com, 2east8th on all social media, loveandimprovfilm.com, loveandimprovfilm on Instagram.
Yes, good. With that, I'll say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Listeners, viewers, thank you. And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.